I was curious, have you ever done like a mantra japa for like 24 hours, just nonstop? What's the longest you've done a mantra japa? Or have you carried it over into your sleep?
All in one time?
Yeah. Or if it's like 108, it was like the farthest you went.
No, I've done recently when my daughter was in surgery.
Um,
I probably did Dan Van Tree's mantra 5 hours.
wow.
So that was probably thousands of mantra japa. So like each mantra, like one mala, probably be like 10, 20 minutes. So 10 minutes, 60, yeah. So that would be a couple thousand. They have what's called minor CT and major CT. So minor CT is like thousands of mantras. Major CT is like hundreds of thousands of mantras. So there are people who have done, well, there's two ways. You could do mantra japa and stop and continue on the next day, or you could just continue through, which would be a long time, 24 hours. And you wouldn't stop for eating or anything. You would just continue on till you heard a click, right? Like once you hear a click, you're like, okay, that's enough, right? But you would just go on and on and on till you didn't feel a click. So it depends how you do it. There are some people that do mantra japa for like weeks, but they stop.
Mm.
And there are some people that do it for days and they stop. So it depends. Me, I'm trying to think what's the longest I've done it continuous. Like I would say recently when my daughter was in surgery, 5 hours, which was probably thousands. You might have success in the outside world, but inside, do you feel empty, restless, or disconnected? I did. Kriya Yoga gave me a sacred structure and deep inner stillness without needing to run off to an ashram. If you're craving real peace and spiritual depth, book a free call at kriyayogamasterclass.com or join my free school at freekriyayoga.com. In the Himalayan mountains, I probably did it like 2 days continuous without sleep. So I would say that was probably
Wow.
major CT, which is like 100,000. But like minor CT, I've done many times, And I like to keep, when I transition into sleep, I transition doing my malas. So I keep that loop even when I'm sleeping. So yeah, I would say I've done it indirectly, not physically consciousness, in a dream turiya state, probably 8 hours, 9 hours, however long I
Wow.
sleep. So I would, I like to continue that too. And sometimes I put on my phone like a loop of mantra japa and I just listen to it while I'm sleeping also. So
Nice.
yeah,
Okay.
that's cool. So subconsciously, it's taking me into that state also, So I have different mantras for different days. Like Thursday, I would do Babaji's surrender mantra or Babaji's, I have different ones. It just depends what I like on a certain day. So yeah, so I have different things on different days. Like it just
Oh, cool.
depends. So I
Yeah,
I
whatever you're
like to
feeling.
listen to it. Yeah, whatever I'm feeling. So
Yeah,
I
like
have
your
like
soundtrack.
a playlist on my iPhone, which is like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So it depends, and it could vary. Like, I feel it's Monday, but I feel like
Yeah.
Babaji today. So I would usually
Hmm.
do Shiva on Monday, Maruga or Brahma on Tuesday, Ganesh on Wednesday, Babaji on Thursday. Then I would do like Lakshmi or like Kali or Saraswati on Friday. Saturday, it's kind of whichever one I'm feeling, but Hanuman on Saturday, and then Sunday is kind of like yogic potluck, you know,
Yeah.
whichever
No
I
rules.
feel. There's like 10 different ones, and I feel certain ones on certain Sundays. But that's kind of the framework, but it doesn't really work out that way. I mean, I would say usually Wednesday or Thursday, I definitely stick to Ganesh or Babaji. And Friday, I usually pick like a Devi or like a goddess, you know, like whichever one. But the other days, I guess I stick to Shiva on Monday, but like the other days, I just play it by ear, you know,
Yeah.
whatever I'm feeling, that's kind of how I go. So, and that includes like mantra japa before I go to sleep, or the listening to the mantra while I do sleep, you know.
I'm gonna try
And I
that.
notice
Wow.
when I do it like that, I don't ever have bad dreams, you know,
Yeah.
because
Maybe you're.
the mantra overpowers whatever external Maya delusional thoughts I have. So,
Yeah, that's a great way to like focus your mind before you sleep. Wow.
and you're like in a blissful divine state in your dreams, whichever deity it is. So,
Yeah, I don't know why I asked you that. I was just thinking, how long could you do a mantra japa? Like, I guess as
I
long as
mean,
you
you could
can.
do it. You could. It's like samadhi. You could, when you're in that rhythm and you're in that mindset, you could just go forever and ever. I mean, you know. I mean, you could probably do it while you eat. Eat with one hand, mantra
Yeah.
japa on. You know, you're thinking it, and so if you do it internally, you could do it way longer than you could do it externally. You know, but yeah, you could go as long as you want. I mean, there's no rule set, so.
Practice Being says, by the power of japa, the sense organs are subdued.
True.
That's
You kind
cool.
of what they call it, celibacy of the senses, like brahmacharya, which you still all your five senses, and you kind of how can I say it? Celibacy still your senses, your five senses. So when you're laser focused on your mantra japa, your distractions, your five senses have really no chance. So it kind of stills them. My guru used to say, do your mantra japa like you're walking a tightrope over the Himalayan mountains, aware of the height below, but laser focused on the tightrope, which is your mantra japa. So that's kind of how I look at it. So
Nice.
when you really lock in on your mantra japa, you don't have time for distractions. So it indirectly calms your monkey mind or your mental clutter just by doing mantra japa. You're laser focused on the raksha bead. You're laser focused on the sound syllables, the bijas, and the mantra japa. So you don't have time for any external unnecessary noise.
I was thinking something about when you had your samadhi, like 5-day samadhi session. So were you sitting in lotus position the whole time?
No, I was sitting in half lotus, like now.
Okay.
Which is lucky for me. I wouldn't have been
Yeah,
able to walk for a
painful.
month. You
Right.
know, even when you like, let's say you go into samadhi and you come out like now. I could, you know, like the windshield wipers, butterfly. You know, you kind of I know how to loosen up your leg, but in the beginning, I couldn't even walk for there was times I couldn't walk for a day. Like I had to literally like crawl to the chair. Like, you know, my legs were like linguine or like spaghetti. They were gone, you know, they didn't work at all. They were totally gone, you know?
Did that scare you?
That, a little bit, but not really, you know, like I didn't think I was not gonna be able to walk. I just thought like, it takes a little while for my legs to warm up. You know, they've been inactive for a while. So,
Yeah.
I mean, the more you do it, the more you get accustomed to it. But In the beginning, I would say, yeah, I was like, damn, I can't stand, like, you can't stand up. Like, your legs are like, how would I put it? They buckle, you know? So like, if you try to stand up too much, you can't, like, you'll fall over. So I would just, the more I did it, the more I realized, okay, like, my legs are totally gone. I need to warm them up. And then you start get feeling back in your legs. Like, but yeah, in the beginning, I was like, damn, I overdid it. That's why I tell people in our school, like, how long should I sit in full lotus position? Well, if you can't walk, it's too long, you know? Like, have some moderation, you know? Don't be a dummy like Vedguru Dev. Like, he overdid it, and then couldn't walk, right? And, you know, so it takes a while to get feeling in your body, but back then it took a lot longer, let's say, you know? And it
The
is
other
kind of
thing,
scary because you're like, I can't stand up,
yeah.
but it comes back after a while. You just got to warm up your legs. Yeah,
The
go
other
ahead.
thing I was thinking about was sleep deprivation. Like 5 days, you're really not sleeping. And, you know, tons of studies have been done on, you know, they experimented on people about sleep deprivation. But I guess in that state, that's a very relaxed type of state. But, you know, you can, if you get sleep deprived too much, you kind of like lose it. You go crazy or whatnot. But, so I just wonder how it's able to withstand not having sleep, really.
They would say it's a sleepless sleep state. So you're kind of slowed your body down to a point where it kind of indirectly recharges itself or nourishes itself with the prana. So it's not like being super awake and active doing stuff. It's more of a half sleep state and a half awake state. They would say, be aware of what is aware, which is basically like, I'm aware, but I'm not super active. I'm kind of reducing the charge on my battery as much as I can to prolong it, let's say, without recharging my battery. So they would kind of say it in that perspective. So sleep in that heightened awareness state, sleep is less necessary than it is for a normal person, let's say, because you're kind of in a sleeping dreamlike state already. So
Right.
it's like being aware of what is aware. That's what I would say. You're aware, but you're not aware. So it's kind of hard to explain. That's why they call it the sleepless sleep state. You're not sleeping, but you're kind of sleeping, you know? So but yeah, they could go in that state. I mean, depending, I don't know. Wow. I mean, they wouldn't need to recharge for a long time, depending on how accessible they were to getting the prana from the atmosphere and nourishing themselves. But it's highly possible.
Interesting.
Yeah. So Mariana is describing her painting, and it sounds beautiful. It's hard to describe the vision, Veronica. Well, it's a Himalayan view on the background, an empty road, and Vedguru Dev walking the path alone, looking into the far lands ahead, serious and thoughtful look on his face, dressed almost like a hermit or like a monk, holding and carrying the lantern of divine light. The road on both sides are beautiful fields, soft long grass, flowers, birds, everything is alive. That is a painting for a guru. Wow.
And with a long gray beard and
Yeah.
eyes smeared all over him.
Dreadlocks,
Wow.
ash, you know.
I'll have to think about this one.
Yeah, there's one picture that I have in our school where I'm looking up the Himalayan mountains. I have a red and white flag, and you know, it's you could see it's like the path is kind of laid out. I'll send that picture to you, Mariana. You see how close it is, but you see like the snow-capped mountains. You see the thousands of rocks, you know, the journey ahead. But yeah, I'm not holding a lantern. I'm holding the flag, the Babaji flag, red and white. But yeah, I didn't believe in inner happiness. I didn't think it was real. It always felt out of reach. But Kriya Yoga showed me a real happiness that I could access every day. It just isn't stretching. It's deep spiritual awakening. You want to feel that too? Join the free Kriya Yoga School at freekriyayogamasterclass.com or book a free call at kriyayogamasterclass.com. If you're on the path, like this video, comment what resonated with you, and subscribe for more soul-centered content right here.